What's good, YouTube? RC the Great here with another video for you guys. I've been in the lab looking for some different defenses. As you can see on the screen, we have worked out a way to get a nice little 1-2-2 press style defense in the game, similar to our 1-3-1, which I'll also cover in this video. I also have the link to that old 1-3-1 video in the description. But let's get into what players you should be using, how to set this defense up, and how to have some more fun on defense. If you're looking for safe and reliable grinding services, hit up Cliff2_3 on Twitter. So before we get into the full details, I wanted to show you guys a live action of the defense in an unlimited game against a pretty decent opponent and how it works against somebody that runs pick and roll or 5-out style. You're going to have many opportunities to get plucks, steals, and passing lanes, but you are going to have to watch the three-point line and watch your guys from sagging in. We're going to go over how to do all that pretty soon, and we're going to be going over what players you should be running. But let's get into how to set everything up. And pretty much you're just going to be calling a 2-3 zone, and you're bringing your center to the top, and that's going to create the 1-2-2 style situation. As you can see, the CPU immediately looks to dump the ball inside the scoring side because that's what's going to be open, and that's what we want to be open against competitive players. If you want this to extend to a full court style, you just want to go to extend pressure on both of the guards that are going to be controlling the ball. So I put it on Iverson and Greer. So now when I bring my center up top, I'm going to have some help from Gary Payton and Jaylen Brown if the ball is on their side. So we can trap the ball if we want, and it creates more of a pressure so we can get some more plucks. Again, the CPU is going to try to go inside because that's where they can score from. But we're definitely going to be covering lineup tips and different ways to stop that from happening easily. As you can see, once again, we got Josh Smith up top. And the beauty of having him here is I can cover the passing lanes to the opposite wing. If they try to make this pass here, I'm going to steal that. I allow them to make the pass for the video. But we're covering the perimeter perfectly how we need to. And it's going to help with those pick and roll style situations. So let's talk about some of the lineup suggestions I have for this. I have a full defensive starting five. Gary Payton, Jaylen Brown, ML Carr, Paul Silas, and Josh Smith. When you're running the 1-3-1, Paul Silas is going to be your middle guy, and he's going to be perfect because his steal is 96, block is 86. He has Hall of Fame Intimidator and Hall of Fame Interceptor, so he's in the passing lanes crazy. Reason why this works in the 1-2-2 as well is because if they try to post you up or get any kind of dribbling with their bigs, you're going to be able to get steals, which we'll see later. We also have Josh Smith at the top of our 1-2-2. His steal is very high. His block is very high. He's fast. He can move. So you want somebody that can move at your center position. You can't run this with somebody with less than like 75 speed, to be honest. Then we got Jaylen Brown on our wing, and the man, Gary Payton, our front runner. He's going to be meeting the defense or the offensive player first. Him and Jaylen Brown are going to be the first players to make contact if you put your defense on extend pressure. And I'm going to start off by showing you guys some clips of why the extend pressure is so cool and why you should have a defensive style lineup out there so you can get more steals and more chances for steals and blocks. Now, you can run some more offensive players, but these clips that I'm getting ready to show you will show you why having a more defensive lineup is important. All right, jumping into some quick gameplay. Remember, we are controlling Josh Smith to shade the offensive player up the court and make the middle of the court hard to get to and controlling the three-point line. But we have our extend pressure on, so our high steal tendency, high steal players are going to be coming up the court trying to get bumps and trying to get steals. Anybody on the court right now can steal the ball from you, which is why I like to have high steal players out there with me when I'm running this, because it creates a situation where as soon as you put the ball down on the ground, trying to get the ball inside, trying to get to the middle of the zone and make your defense collapse, which you guys know happens, we're going to have more chances to get steals. So again, we're shading them up the court with Josh Smith. Gary Payton and Jaylen Brown are chasing them around. When they try to get the ball inside, watch when they try to get it to Grant Hill, and he's going to try to post up and make my players crash. ML Carr comes over and he gets a pluck. If he didn't have high steal, we wouldn't have been able to get that, and this would not have happened. Now, moving on into the next game, same thing happening. We have the extend pressure on. Gary Payton is getting the bumps. I'm controlling the top of the three-point line with Josh Smith, but I'm also switching around to other players. I just don't want to allow them to get a three or an easy pick and roll. Once he dumps it inside, we surround him. He tries to force it inside one more time, and then Paul Silas gets a steal as soon as he puts the ball on the ground. So you can't just back us down and make the defense collapse because we are going to be able to get those steals sometimes. Now, sometimes you are going to be, allowing some open threes. But if you're going to play this defense, you have to be willing to allow some of those sometimes. More than likely, you are going to be able to force a bad pass, force your opponent to rush, or force a steal out there. Once again, he's going to try to force it into Embiid. Embiid tries a spin move, and we are going to get another pluck. If he's trying to put the ball on the ground with his center inside, it is not going to be a good time. And that happens 90% of the time. They're going to try to force the ball inside with their center, post up, and then try to kick it out for three. And we're able to stop that each time. Anytime he gives the ball to the center or somebody without high ball handle, it's going to be a steal. But now let's talk about some tips of how to get the best out of this defense, what to look for on the court, what to take away, and get into some more gameplay against more competitive players. All right, so here's some quick tips when you're running the 1-2-2 or the 1-3-1. And the first one is most important. Do not allow your opponent to shoot off of ball screens. If you're playing against somebody that uses ball screens a lot, you want to blitz those and take those away. That's why Josh Smith or Paul Silas is going to be out front, making sure that does not happen. 2, force your opponent into catch and shoot or post scoring. Make them make decisions, find somebody open, or try to dump it inside. That's when you're going to get the most steals. Make sure that they're doing this. Do not allow them to just be comfortable shooting with their point guard. Now, number 3 goes directly with 2. You got to be able to switch players and anticipate to take chances to get those steals out of the air when they're trying to find those catch and shoot players. Got to be able to switch to different players on the court. If you cannot do this, this defense is not for you. Number 4, keep the ball away from the middle because the defense will collapse. 2K has not fixed that yet, but there are some ways, like I said, getting some steals that's going to be able to help that. 5, this defense keeps the offense off guard, but don't stay in it too long. Once you get a lead, get back into a man-to-man, play some regular man-to-man. And number 6, you will give up some open shots. They're going to start. It's going to happen. But in number 6, play defense, some open threes. Just know it's going to happen. Keep yourself aggressive and keep trying to get those lanes and get those steals. All right, now let's put all this to practice and let's show you guys some footage against some players that are more competitive. First one was B. Warrington. Very good player. Plays in a lot of tournaments and stuff. Shout out to B. Warrington. Again, we're going to be putting the guards only on extend pressure. Everybody else you can put on no, unless you want to extend against the small forwards and power forwards. But I definitely recommend only the point guard and shooting guard. So first play up, we're in a 2-3 zone. Jaylen Brown is up against ML Carr, but we also have Josh Smith. Now, I'm going to be taking the place of whoever extends their pressure. So if Jaylen Brown extends pressure, I take his spot. If Peyton extends pressure, I take his spot. Or if I want to play the top, I do it myself. As you can see, he tries to get it into Mutombo like we said that they would try to do. And we get a steal right away because he tries to dribble with Mutombo. We have everybody out there with high steal. This time he tries to get into the middle again. We're switching our players to make sure the corners are not open for an open 3, and we get another steal interception with ML Carr, gets us on a fast break, and we get an open 3. So we're off to the races. We're playing good defense to start the game off. We pull Josh Smith up again to the top. Gary Payton is extending pressure. We're not allowing any ball screen, so we're hard hedging off of the ball screen every single time. Again, he's trying to get inside and get the ball to Mutombo to score or get something easy outside. We were able to block the first one, but he got lucky. Karolinko put it back in. But that is more than fine. We will take that. This time, we switched to our 1-3-1. If you haven't watched the 1-3-1 tutorial video, I left the link in the description. As you can see, Paul Silas is running the 1-3-1 for me. And we get another pluck. He should have shook the shot with Melo, but since the defense is so confusing, you're going to notice that people hesitate when they see these kind of defenses because it's not what they're used to. If you play the same over and over and over and used to seeing the same things happening, once you see something different, you're going to have to stop and wait. It throws them off guard and makes them play a little different than they're used to playing. So now we get back into the 2-3 zone or the 1-2-2 hybrid, as I like to call it. And as you can see, he tries to get the ball inside the Mutombo. We kind of baited like we were going outside to stop the middle of the three-point line. We were able to steal that pass. So play around with it a little bit. You don't got to be doing the same thing every single time. Make it difficult for your opponent to know what's going on. Right here, we could have stole that pass to Melo. So that's why we're in that spot with Josh Smith. He obviously doesn't pass it there, but that's why we're standing in that spot to take away the skip pass. He gets a nice pass to Chris Mullin right here, greens that 3. But if I got my hand up, that would have been a contest, and that would have been another stop right there. But that's just my fault for not getting a contest on that shot. Right here, he tries to force it inside one more time. Once he puts the ball on the ground once again, we are going to be able to force him into a tie-up situation. We get a lucky out-of-bounds call, and it's another turnover going our way. But notice the pressure that is on the guard. Notice how they have to stop, and they have to think about what passes they're going to make. They're a little bit late on some of their shots because they don't know they're open right away. It just really forces them to play a style that they're not really used to playing. They have to slow down their pace, think about their decision making, and then you can kind of force their hand and make them do things that they don't want to do. Sometimes they're going to get easy baskets inside. Sometimes they're going to get some open threes, but you're making it come at your expense. You're not making it happen in a way that they're always used to doing it. Pick and roll, run around the screen, shoot an open three. Make them score in ways that they're not used to, and you'll have a better chance at winning. As you can see, we were up 8 in that game against a very good opponent. Now let's move on to another game against Clipped. We are running the same style defense, starting off with the 1-2-2. Gary Payton's putting some pressure on his Stephen Curry. Now he has Wilt Chamberlain out there, and if they're running a non-shooting center, this is going to be a little bit easier to defend. But again, we don't want to allow any kind of ball screen. So as you can see, anytime Wilt Chamberlain is going to be setting a ball screen, we are jumping out on those, and we are not allowing any three-point attempts. So any catch and shoots we're jumping at, trying not to get that foul call though, because sometimes you will get a foul call. But just watch that. Anytime he calls a screen, I'm going to be blitzing out with Josh Smith, making sure he doesn't get that easy opening for a three-point shot. So we're just covering the three-point line, utilizing Josh Smith as our front line defender. And then if he tries to get it in, tries to do any kind of dribbling, we're going to be trying to steal the ball from Wilt Chamberlain inside. If he does end up getting an easy dunk, it is what it is. He wants to shoot threes. We know he wants to shoot threes. That's why Stephen Curry is out there. So we're going to take that away. And this is one of the best defense that I found to do so, besides man-to-man and hard hedging. This gives you so much more cover on the back end because you are in a zone, so your players are going to be extended out to the wings a little bit better, and they don't leave their spot because their man leaves. So you're able to do a lot of different tricky things to get yourself some baited passes, and you can jump out to some good leads against good players. Again, this is one of the better players in the MyTeam community, and he's down 9 in the first quarter just because we are able to get out early, and he didn't really understand how to be efficient against this defense. It was very confusing, and he didn't know how to really combat it. So anytime, again, he starts to set a screen, we're coming up with Josh Smith. Josh Smith has that high steal rating, and we're just creating havoc out there. He's standing still for so many times in these possessions because he doesn't know what's happening. He's used to seeing just a regular man-to-man and doing what he's used to. Now we got another game. Again, same exact things happening. He's going to try to post up and make my players drop, and we're going to be able to get those steals inside with Gary Payton, Josh Smith, Paul Silas, and Mel Carr. That's why we're running those guys, because we are going to have higher chances to get these steals. Anytime that they try to make passes to the opposite corner and stuff, you also have high steal ratings with those interceptors out there. You're going to have better chances of getting those. This is why I do recommend running these defensive players, because if that's somebody like, a Jason Terry or Chris Mullin out there, you will have to user that steal, and you can't be controlling everyone. You can only switch to certain people at certain times. So you want the ball to be able to be stolen even if you're not there. So being able to create havoc in the passing lanes even if you're not controlling the player. Again, sometimes you're going to be giving up some easy baskets, and that's okay. When you have the lead, take chances, but just don't give up threes. The more you give up threes, that's when your players are going to try to start coming back in the game. So if I can give one tip, make sure you do not give up threes when you're running this defense. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There's some more footage I wanted to gather for you guys. I'm going to keep going with it. If you want to see more of this style, let me know. But until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you watch that 131 tutorial as well. I left the link in the description. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.